maybe we could shift to the cultural and religious significance of the mountain. People have said that the mountain is very sacred, even though Hawaiians don't go up there that often. That just the view of it is a spiritual legacy or experience, and that another telescope up there will just desecrate it more. What's your feelings about that?
My feelings are that I think the reason why you've seen such dedication in the opposition to this telescope is because Mauna Kea is a very, very significant spiritual site for our peoples. Our peoples believe that it was from the union of Vakea, the Sky Father, with Mother Earth, Papahanaumoku, that the islands and all life was born. The Sky Father is Vakea, and this is the mountain of Vakea. The name of Mauna Kea, that was a short name. The true name is Mauna Kea. Mauna being mountain, Kea of the Sky Father. So here we have the home of the Sky Father that is the progenitor of our peoples, of all peoples on the earth. In addition to that, there are many sacred places, site-specific places, where Hawaiians have worshipped for millennium. With the development, our rights to worship have been very much tapered and negatively impacted. For instance, many of our sacred areas are now declared to be the NARS, N-A-R-S, Natural Area Reserves. We're not allowed to go there. We've had instances in the past where the sacred marking stones, where we actually went to worship, left our ho'okupu, our sacred offering, they disappeared. Later, we received eyewitness information that the Institute for Astronomy had sent their staffers there to take the sacred stone and throw it away in the public dump site here in Hilo. They were seen doing this. It was recorded by the employees of the public dump site themselves. They were forced to return the stone, however, it later vanished and we have never been able to get it back. When we have raised the issue of the sacred uses in public hearing, we had hundreds of Hawaiians who testified as to the cultural significance to themselves, to their families. We had Hawaiians who flew in from the different islands because although their bloodlines may not trace to the Big Island, the sacredness of Mauna Kea to them is preserved through their bloodlines, and so they came also to testify. We had some of our most respected kupuna, Antipua Kanakaole, who took the stand on this issue, and she herself is recognized as a living treasure of the United States of America by the Smithsonian Institute. Nevertheless, our concerns for our right to worship and protecting what is sacred have fallen on deaf ears, and this unfortunately has caused a very bitter and a very deep rift between our community and the folks who are supposed to be caring for this sacred place. I think another very difficult bone of contention is the fact that Mauna Kea is ceded lands. And in this state, in the state of Hawaii, we are the only state in the Union in which all public trust lands are reserved not only for the public, but also for the native Hawaiian. So you see, these are actual trust assets, actual trust lands that belong to our peoples that we need to access for cultural purposes, for worship purposes, these First Amendment rights being violated and abridged, and for many years this has been the case.
Okay. Along that line, I understand that there were actually burials up at the cinder cones at the summit, and some of these burials they think were just bulldozed over and dumped into level off these areas so that they could build observatories. Do you have any knowledge of that situation?
I do not have personal knowledge of the situation. I can tell you that when we had the public hearings, it is true that Hawaiians came forward and they gave that information from their own personal knowledge. It's difficult for us to try to confirm it at this late date for the simple reason that the bulldozing has occurred, the concrete has been poured. very, very poor reports were done at the time of construction. I have myself read through all of the archaeological reports from day one, but the archaeological data was very old, and unfortunately when the construction was done, there was no concern to preserve this type of knowledge, and in fact there was every incentive to hide this, because there is law in Hawaii. What you have to do, you have to stop construction. When you come across a burial site, you have to bring it to the burial council on your island.
Right.
This is always something that delays development and increases costs. So in many cases, and what we see in Mauna Kea is certainly a case example where there's very little information about what they actually came across when they were doing the construction.
Okay. Well, maybe we could close by saying, what do you think would be a direction that this could go where the Native Hawaiians' rights would be respected, and this in the mountain could be preserved? What's the solution here?
I really think that the most responsible approach that we can take, and what the court has authorized, is for all parties to come together, work collectively on creating an integrated cultural and natural resource management plan for the mountain. We're going to have to determine what is the carrying capacity of this venue. We're going to have to seriously look at competing uses, scientific uses, cultural, religious uses, public uses for entertainment, for things such as hunting, as diverse as that, and we're going to have to decide whether or not all of these uses can be accommodated, and if not, what has to be phased out. Without even looking at the Hawaiian cultural concerns, there are people who have expressed their concern that they're up there hiking on trails and they hear guns going off, and they don't know whether or not they're in an active hunting area because nothing is demarcated there. The thing is that there is a way to address this. We do need some capital. We need a capital commitment to doing the work for an integrated and cultural natural resource management plan. It's the kind of thing that will cost millions of dollars. We do need to recognize that the Native Hawaiian peoples themselves can come together, put together a corporate nonprofit structure to be the guardians of this place, so that when issues arise relating to the Native culture or worship, we have a component there. We're not just stakeholders, we are right holders. Why not acknowledge that? Let's be inclusive here. Get over some of the racist divisions that exist. The fact is that there's cultural users, bring them in. Honor their religious practice. Fund them so that they can become guardians. I think if these components were addressed, we could go forward. And at this time, there's no reason why we can't go forward. If we have the Moore Foundation, they're saying that they're willing to put in $300 million to drive the deal. Where's the commitment to fund the cultural natural resource management planning process? Where's the commitment to fund the Native participation so that we can put it together now and ensure that it's strong enough to be in place so that all future generations can benefit from the appropriate, environmentally responsible and culturally responsible use of Mauna Kea?
Excellent. You're good.